Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Rebuilding the Thunderbirds here, and in between episodes, I did a little bit of just scouting and just looked at some of the prospects. I have the favorited ones here, and right now what I'm looking for through the draft is the first pick I'm going to spend on the quarterback, second round on the D-end, third wide receiver, fourth running back, fifth corner, sixth round on the left outside, and my seventh round pick on a defensive tackle. And for the free agency that we are about to enter, I'm going to sign just a bunch of backups and then release all the Buffalo Bills players that are on the team. And I'm making a rule where I can sign 180 plus and the rest have to be 73 overalls or lower. Just because I kind of I want this team to kind of start out with nothing and then get built up from the ground up. So we're going to go into free agency. I'm not going to negotiate any of those guys. I can just go into free agency. No one's going to sign them. They're 12 overalls. And now I'm going to look through and choose and see which 80 overall I'm going to sign. My priority was to sign offensive line because when you look at it, they are some of the most important players on a team because no matter if you run the ball, you need them to be good at run blocking. And if you're going to pass the ball, you need them to be good at pass blocking so you don't get sacked every single play. So I just go and sign a bunch of 73, 70s, and 71 overall offensive linemen, just trying to get them so I can just build the offensive line from there, have at least acceptable offensive line as just a starting point, and then upgrade it in the future. But that'll definitely be one of the most important parts of this team. Then for the rest of day one or week one, whatever you want to call it, a free agency, I decided to go after a defensive tackle, a right end, and some linebackers. And then after that, I decided to go ahead and then get it out of the way and start releasing all the bills so I could have more cap space and sign the rest of the team. And if you are wondering who we spent the 75 plus on, it was Trey Flowers there. I just wanted to go with corner because once again, corner is a main position, so we don't want to get dusted and then allow 50 points per game. And now it's time for everyone's favorite thing, a sped up montage that'll make you nauseous if you look at it for too long of releasing all of the Bills players. And this only took about 7 minutes, luckily, so better than the hour and 20 that it took last time. And it does not let me release Josh Allen because his penalty for releasing him is just too much, so I'm going to keep him as a cheerleader, I guess. I'm not going to let him see the field because I have another quarterback just to play backup just in case our rookie gets injured, but Josh Allen will not see the field and hopefully just retire next season. And as you can see by the massive list of names over there, for free agency day 2, I'm just going to call it, I just signed a bunch of backups and some needed positions like running back, free safety, kicker, and all that. Unfortunately, Tracy Walker did reject the contract. I really wanted him, but I just signed a bunch of backups so we can fill out the roster and some of the starters I were missing. Like I said, now this team's starting to look well-rounded. I mean, we're not good by any measure because we're just a 70 overall, but, this team has to start somewhere, and then one more day of free agency, then we're into the draft. Then we'll have built this team up how we like it and get ready for the start of the season. We really didn't do anything in day 4 of free agency, so there was kind of no point showing it. We just signed 2 69 overall backups. But with the 6th overall pick, we're going to go take Jeff Tomlinson from Colorado. And look at that. He is elite and great and everything. A's and B's everywhere. So he just looks really good. And from what I looked at, he looks like the best quarterback in the draft. So I'm going to take him here. And he has 91 speed, which is really good. And he can throw, so if he needs to, we can roll out of the pocket and escape pressure that way. But I just think it's just an awesome pick for us. We potentially found our franchise quarterback with our first ever pick in the draft. When we got to our second round pick, unfortunately the defensive end that I wanted was not there. So I just decided to say, okay, I'm going to change around my draft plan here. I'm going to take this wide receiver that I wanted to take in the 3rd round. I mean, he's pretty solid. He could use some work, but I think we can just develop him into a really good wide receiver. It sucks, though. I really wanted that defensive end. He looked like a generational talent, kind of like Jeff Tomlinson, our first overall pick. Since we were unable to get that left end that I wanted to take in the second round, I decided to go back, take a right end, and end up moving him to left end. And going into this draft, I wanted to take a running back, no matter if he was going to start or not, and I ended up taking Michael Leonard here, who's 91 speed, which is pretty good, and honestly, he's either going to split carries with Duke Johnson, or he's going to be the backup to Duke Johnson. I'm just going to see how he plays in the preseason, then decide off that, but him and the wide receiver we took earlier, I'm going to try and put my focus on developing them so we can get some just solid players, maybe some late round steals. Another important position is corner for us because we have Corn Elder and Trey Flowers, but I think this guy will be pretty solid, 93 speed. Once again, a guy that'll need some work. I think he will have like kind of a meh season. He may not be the best and give up a bunch, but I think in the future this guy will become a cornerstone for our team. Kind of back on track now. I went to go take an outside linebacker with the 6th round pick, and he ends up being a hidden development, which is actually really good for us because this is an auto-generated draft and they are usually not the best, but to find a hidden development player who can potentially be a superstar, he's probably only going to be a star though, but that's still really good, finding a star in the 6th round. And just like in the original draft plan for the 7th round pick and our final pick in this draft, I got another hidden dev defensive tackle. Once again, probably only a star, but it's still really good. A 7th round pick, and he's going to start at defensive tackle as well. I just hope we can end up developing him into a superstar. That's just really good for us that we managed to get 2 stars, and with our last 2 picks as well. Here are the overalls of all the players. Jeff Tomlinson, definitely our best pick in the draft, ended up being a 76. Unfortunately, the wide receiver we took in the 2nd round was only a 68, and our 3rd round pick as well was 68. The running back was 67. The corner was a 65, the left outside actually was the worst overall at 62, and the defensive tackle that we got was 63 overall. And I'm going to change Calvin White into a left end right here. I wanted to look at the entire draft as a whole because I was kind of curious in seeing where that left end was, and he was the 2nd best player in the draft. Yeah, that kind of stings. I didn't even get a chance to pick him either, he wasn't available at my pick. If I had another 1st round pick, I definitely would have taken him because that just sucks we missed out on the 2nd best player in the draft. Whatever, we got the 4th best with Jeff Tomlinson. I guess that'll do. And here are your Thunderbirds. This is the lineup we will be running for our first year. As you can see, our wide receivers solid with Josh Gordon, Jakeem Grant, and the rookie we drafted. Obviously, Jeff Tomlinson there. An okay O-line. Once again, like the bare minimum of an offensive line. Same thing with the defensive line. Like, there are some good players there, but other than that, it's just like You can see by our overall over there, 68. We are the worst team in the league overall wise, and probably talent wise as well. And that is about it. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see how this journey turns out with the Thunderbirds. Once again, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to play the preseason games just on my own time, and next time you'll see this series, it'll be week 1 versus the Jets for the Thunderbirds' first ever game.